Imagine a place so mysterious even your high school geography teacher sidesteps it like a bad question: the lost continent of Mu. Not because he's clueless, but because even he can't keep a straight face when discussing a landmass that's made disappearing into an art form worthy of Olympic gold. Legend has it, Mu wasn't just some tropical vacation spot. It was a sprawling supercontinent supposedly lounging beneath the Pacific, basking in pre-Atlantis glory. Fans of Mu, translation, dreamers with a flair for the dramatic, insist it housed a hyper-advanced civilization that would make Atlantis look like a beginner's sandbox. Then, in a finale worthy of a soap opera, Mu supposedly took a catastrophic nosedive into the sea. Think apocalypse with extra flair. And if Mu did exist, it was impressively rude enough to take all its evidence with it. The kicker? Scientists hunting for Mu have found as much proof as I have missing socks. None whatsoever. Geology teachers everywhere can breathe easy because all known continents are accounted for and RSVP'd to the tectonic table. The myth of Mu flourished in the late 19th and early 20th centuries, back when peer review was more suggestion box than rulebook, and wild theories roamed free. Geologists, ever the party poopers, point out that continental plates don't just ghost us. The idea of a whole continent vanishing is about as believable as waking up to a T-Rex tending your garden. Yet somehow, the legend of Mu refuses to sink. It keeps popping up in pulp novels, conspiracy forums, and documentaries that look like they were shot on a dare. If ancient cataclysms really erased continents, my cringy high school yearbook photos would have drowned ages ago, proof that some things, for better or worse, just stick around. Over time, the identity of Mu became intertwined with that of another fabled land, Lemuria. Ever heard someone say Mu and Lemuria like they're interchangeable, like socks and shoes? Or for the truly adventurous, mustard and toothpaste? Let's untangle this tropical spaghetti, because the only thing these mythical lands share is a gold medal in the mythical continents we've never seen Olympics. Popular belief clumps Mu and Lemuria into one Atlantis-esque mashup, a vanishing utopia where ancient geniuses did everything short of invent Wi-Fi. The tale is simple. Both supposedly advanced continents pulled a disappearing act long before vanishing was trendy. TikTok trends have nothing on these legendary ghost lands. Here's the kicker. Mu's legend was spun by Augustus Le Plongeon in the 19th century, a man whose dedication to Mayan fantasy left archaeologists raising eyebrows higher than a triple espresso. Meanwhile, Lemuria wasn't designed for ancient astronauts. Philip Sclater dreamed it up to explain why lemurs popped up in Madagascar and India, but skipped East Africa, as if furry, cat-sized primates had oceanic frequent flyer miles. Lemuria was looking out for lemurs. Mu, on the other hand, did nada for the mongoose. Proof? Imagine a tourist's sunscreen application on a Caribbean beach. Spotty at best. Scholars roll their eyes at Mu-Lemuria mix-ups with enough force to spin the Earth faster. Bottom line, confusing Mu and Lemuria is like mixing up Hogwarts and Mordor. Both fictional, but stepping through the wrong portal could ruin your day. These continents weren't even the same fantasy. Each sprang from its own creative fever dream and unrelated scientific whodunit. In short, if Mu and Lemuria were truly one and the same, cartographers would trade maps for latte art. And somehow, the world would make even less sense. This confusion led many to search ancient texts for clues to authenticate Mu's true nature. Grab your sandals and scrolls. It's time to crack open some ancient books and hunt for Mu. Fans of this mythical land swear it's tucked away in the dusty corners of history's oldest tomes, making Mu the Beyoncé of lost continents, always whispered about, never snapped in a selfie. The claim? See? Ancient texts mention Mu, so it has to be real. Let's unravel this papyrus party. Enter James Churchward, the 1920s OG Mu whisperer. He insisted he could translate secret Nakal tablets, supposedly penned by an ancient civilization so elusive that no one else could locate, pronounce, or even remember it. Conveniently, his source civilization was extinct, much like the land he was translating. If Mu's name were hiding in any ancient script, it was probably sipping coconut water with Atlantis under a palm tree. Here's the kicker. Those mentions of Mu? They're often as reliable as your cousin's Bigfoot sightings. Researchers have scoured Mayan codices, Sumerian tablets, and any artifact older than Grandma's teapot. None drop a clear, unambiguous shout-out to Mu. Many ancient texts cited by Mu devotees suspiciously emerged in the 19th century, a golden age for both spiritualism and tall tales. If every lost continent had ancient mentions, the ancients would have spent their days updating their world maps instead of farming. And before someone pipes up, what about the Nazca lines? Aren't they a map of Mu? Let's retire that theory for the 10th and hopefully final time. They're huge geoglyphs, not travel brochures. Bottom line, genuine archaeologists and linguists agree. Show them an authentic ancient text mentioning Mu, and they'll show you a unicorn next. These texts influenced early scientific theories that supported the physical existence of Mu. Once upon a time, real scientists gave Mu a standing ovation, then sank back into their seats, blushing. In the late 19th century, when everyone was wild for lost continents, Mu burst onto the scene like an overconfident magician at a skeptical kids' party. Forget Atlantis, Mu was the new golden ticket. If your academic cred needed a boost, just drop Mu at a conference and wait for the applause, or polite coughing. Enter Augustus Le Plongeon, strutting in to declare Mu the original cradle of civilization. His evidence? About as sturdy as wet tissue paper. Mysterious symbols, suspiciously flexible translations, and a flair for adventure more at home on a shopping channel than a lecture hall. Mu's existence was brewed from the magical mix of outdated science and unchecked enthusiasm. Abracadabra, a placebo continent. Not to be outdone by mustachioed mystics, some geologists tried to locate Mu among sunken Pacific ridges. A few squiggly lines on a bathymetric map? Close enough! Never mind a little thing like plate tectonics. In 1895, a monocle and a splendid mustache were basically a license to redraw the Earth. For a while, Mu danced through respectable magazines, lectures, and smoky gentlemen's clubs, debated by academics showing that imagination could indeed be peer-reviewed. Early theories clung to lost civilization straws, until, snap, radiometric dating and continental drift crashed the party, yanking the rug out from under Mu. Its evidence disappeared faster than my motivation on a Monday morning. By mid-20th century, Mu exited stage left, chased off by the unglamorous realities of geology. When plate tectonics and modern science rewired the whole house, they didn't just turn off the lights. They sent Mu into permanent retirement beneath the Pacific, right next to Atlantis, and academic dignity. Building on this acceptance, some proposed that Mu was home to an incredibly advanced civilization. Imagine an ancient utopia where Wi-Fi zoomed faster than your office network and no one fought over the TV remote. That's the paradise dreamers call Mu. Legend has it, somewhere in the Pacific, a colossal island continent once housed a civilization so dazzlingly advanced they'd scoff at your smartphone. According to fans, Mu's people mastered electricity, flew aircraft, and maybe even Skyped their Atlantean neighbors. And let's be honest, if Mu had Wi-Fi, the password apparently sunk with the continent. But let's hit pause and shine a reality flashlight on this glittering mirage. The tale of Mu pops out of the 19th century, not from ancient tablets or sacred cave paintings. It came from writers like Augustus Le Plongeon, who had a flair for spinning superpowered civilizations, with zero pesky evidence. In fact, the only thing more advanced than Mu's lost tech is the imagination of those who spin the story. Meanwhile, archaeologists have scoured the Pacific and uncovered genuinely impressive societies, like the Lapita, pioneers of ocean navigation, monumental architecture, and intricate art. No hoverboards, laser guns, or flying machines have turned up, unless you count the flying lunchboxes mysteriously vanishing from the communal fridge. So here's the kicker. Sci-fi buffs, Mu's greatest tech export remains an epic myth, not the missing manual for time machines or galaxy-class routers. But don't despair. The true magic lies in the real Pacific cultures, whose navigational wizardry and artistry deserve a standing ovation. Just don't expect them to fix your Wi-Fi anytime soon. However, the sudden disappearance of Mu added layers of mystery to its advanced culture's fate. Imagine waking up to find an entire continent vanished. Poof! And everyone blaming it for the morning's coffee shortage. The prime suspect? Mu, that ancient lost land that makes Atlantis look like a sandcastle in a bathtub. Legend, as sticky as spilled honey, paints Mu as the Pacific's centerpiece, a sprawling civilization responsible for wisdom, lost tech, earthquakes, floods, and, if you ask my grandmother, some truly questionable disco hairdos in the 70s. The story goes, one day, Mu sank with all the drama of a failed magic trick, unleashing global chaos. Haircuts, politics, coffee supplies, none would ever recover. But let's get real. Mu's resume is as mythical as my houseplant's prospects. Despite all the finger-pointing, no scientific shred backs Mu's existence, let alone its spectacular swan dive. When scientists went searching, all they found were bewildered cartographers and a lot of soggy socks, not a lost supercontinent. Real ancient disasters? They come courtesy of dull but deadly forces, shifting tectonic plates, wild climate swings, or, if we're feeling cheeky, a T-Rex with indigestion and zero pepto. Still, when history hits the blanks, it was Mu, makes a delightfully convenient patsy. Missing sock? Mu's handiwork. Rain on your parade? Blame Mu. That's the beauty of a lost continent. No angry emails from its vanished populace. In the end, myths like Mu tickle our love of mystery, quietly shaping how we fill history's gaps. Because, let's face it, it's pretty hard to fact-check an underwater scapegoat. Despite its disappearance, traces of Mu are believed to survive in remote Pacific islands and ancient artifacts. Treasure hunters rejoice. The lost continent of Mu supposedly left behind souvenirs scattered all across the Pacific. So pack your snorkels and your adventurer's hat. Legend has it this ancient Atlantis on rocket fuel dramatically sank beneath the waves, with a few lucky survivors paddling off to dump civilization's outtakes on every volcanic speck from Hawaii to Fiji. According to Mu mythologists, bless their wildly imaginative souls, these refugees went full-on cultural pollinator. The stone-faced moai of Easter Island? Obviously carved by homesick Muons, not patient local Rapa Nui wielding chisels and sheer grit. The geometric ruins of Nan Madol? Oh please, they've got to be leftover Mu real estate, not brilliant Micronesian architecture. And any artifact that refuses to behave for archaeologists? If it's weird or stubbornly unclassifiable, you can bet there's a Mu enthusiast nearby ready to leap out yelling, "It's Mu!" If Mu stashed its remnants as well as Bigfoot hides in forests, no wonder we can't find them. Some folks say Mu's souvenirs vanished better than my left sock in the dryer, which, let's be honest, is borderline supernatural. Now here's the splash. Actual scholars have spent a century untangling fact from fantasy. Turns out local cultures, armed with ingenuity and stone tools, not borrowed blueprints from some lost meta-civilization, built these jaw-dropping wonders. Despite decades of treasure hunters, true believers, and that one YouTuber screaming, "It's Mu!" at every random pebble, no confirmed Mu relics have ever surfaced. The verdict? Pacific phenoms like Easter Island and Nan Madol are genuine homegrown masterpieces. Sometimes, the real magic is admitting humanity doesn't need a sunken superpower to explain a really impressive pile of rocks. These elusive remnants have kept the legend of Mu alive and resonant in popular culture worldwide. If you haven't heard of Mu, congratulations! You've just dodged one of history's most alluring imaginary vacations. Picture this. Mu, the lost continent with a name so short it sounds like a cow's existential sigh. Legend has it Mu is so ancient and widespread that cultures worldwide swapped stories about it like trading Pokemon cards. Some say its origins predate your grandma's sourdough starter, which is already breaking time's speed records, and it's twice as magical, though with considerably less yeast. According to the mythmongers, Mu was the ancient Cancun, a sun-soaked paradise celebrated by everyone from ancient Egyptians to the Maya, who somehow felt nostalgic about it despite disagreeing on pyramid decor. By the late 19th century, a few intrepid explorers and mystics, equipped with impressive mustaches and even bigger imaginations, planted Mu firmly on the mystical map. Suddenly, evidence appeared everywhere, provided you didn't squint too hard or ask for a bibliography. Enthusiasts claim the world harbors deep nostalgia for Mu's tragic destruction. It's like global FOMO for a cruise that never set sail. But here's the kicker. All that ancient and universal proof is just Victorian-era PR dressed up in sepia tones. Turns out Mu has about as many credible historical sources as unicorns on hoverboards. If every civilization truly longed for Mu, their scribes must have missed the memo, probably because they were busy documenting actual history. So if you're holding your breath for archaeologists to confirm Mu, you might as well add Atlantis and the Loch Ness Monster to your wish list. They're still out there, somewhere.